Coming up tonight, health warns consumers to be aware of sale of damaged goods. Villagers clean up, and U.S. government donates relief supplies. Good evening, I'm Sandra Assam. Consumers have been strongly urged to refrain from buying consumable food items that were damaged by the floods. Health spokesperson Penny Namotu says with a major retailer already charged under the Food Safety Act, members of the public have an important role to play in ensuring that they prioritize on health and not to be easily duped by clearance sales.
Health spokesperson Penny Namotu says health inspectors have confiscated 250,000 tons of damaged food in the Western Division. Namotu adds the Health Ministry is concerned and is also monitoring the number of people contracting food poisoning.
Yesterday we closed down RB Patel in Martin Tarnandi because they've been selling contaminated food. And we are doing a full inspection of the whole shop. We've sealed down the whole area to see that inspection has been done. At the same time, we are looking at other supermarkets in the Western Division, especially now that the floodwaters has receded. We are looking into inspecting frozen food to see that they are safe for the people.
The Health Ministry is urging the public to be alert and consider the important factors such as power outages in their respective areas, as some shops or supermarkets affected by the floods may not have backup generators to store food.
We're advising members of the public to be more vigilant when it comes to purchasing frozen food, especially areas whereby it has been submerged in floodwaters, and there are packaged products. There's been submerged in the water. At the same time, frozen food is something that has been of high risk when it comes to flood, because electricity was out for some time, and also there's been fluctuation in the temperatures of the refrigerators because of the power outage. Some of these supermarkets have backup generators and some does not have backup generators. And this is an issue to the ministry because, in fact, in the last flood, some were admitted at the hospital because they've contracted food poisoning. So, as we speak, it's important for the people to note that it's not about the price of the food; it's about the quality of the food that they are purchasing, which is more important. The usual case is that supermarkets usually decrease the price of the food in order to lure consumers into purchasing this food. But like I've said, people should look at the quality of the food instead of the price that they are purchasing the food for, because at the end of the day, what matters is the life of our people and also the health of our people, because once they're admitted at the hospital, the money can't bring life back.
While major cleanups continue in the Western Division, Namotu says supermarkets and shop owners have to be mindful of the humanitarian and social responsibility they play in ensuring that customers get the best.
What we are seeing is that there's been a conflict of interest, in fact, because business houses are more concerned about running of the business and gaining profit. I mean, nobody wants to lose out when it comes to business, but then health is something that they have to consider, because life is something that you can't bring back.
With floodwaters receded, villagers have begun to return to their homes and assist in the massive village cleanup, a common sight in the Central and Western Divisions as people try to return to normalcy. Our Fiji News crew was in Sigatoka touring with the head of government, Prime Minister Bainimarama, and filed this report.
Villagers in Nayawa in Sigatoka have begun the cleanup of their village as trucks offloaded some of the belongings many of these families had managed to save from the rising floodwaters of the Sigatoka River. With a busy weekend schedule focused on monitoring and assessing the damages in various parts of the Western Division, Prime Minister Bainimarama and a team of government officials stopped over at the village to get first-hand information on the status of the cleanup and how villagers are returning to normalcy. The next village of Las Selassie and its members thanked the head of government, Prime Minister Bainimarama, for the assistance given during the height of the flood on government's quick response to villages in Sigatoka in terms of cleaning debris, distributing rations and cleaning villages and towns. The Prime Minister also acknowledged the work carried out by civil servants in trying to assist in rebuilding the lives of communities affected by the floods. Areas that were visited by the Prime Minister and his team were Sigatoka village, Dhuvu and Bangladesh, where he also met with individuals and families of the settlement, asking whether they also had access to necessities such as water and food ration. PN Bainimarama has assured that government cares for the people and is doing all it can to ensure that their lives are rebuilt and that they are provided with life's basic necessities.
The United States is assisting the people of Fiji by responding to the recently declared state of emergency in the western parts of the main island caused by the recent flooding of homes, towns and villages. The American Embassy in Suva has donated US $100,000 to Rotary Fiji and $50,000 US to the Fiji Red Cross for the provision of emergency relief supplies, including blankets, water purification systems, water tanks, gloves, boots, diapers and hygiene kits for distribution by DISMAC.
Our hearts truly go out to the men, women and children enduring extreme hardships at this time, and our hope and thoughts are with those working valiantly to help them recover. To that end, I have authorized the release of $150,000 US to provide immediate assistance to those in desperate need of critical emergency relief supplies. What you see here represents a small portion of that aid being delivered by one of our key partners, Rotary Fiji, to DISMAC for delivery to those most affected by the disaster.
U.S. has commended the Fijian government's response to the floods and remains committed to helping the people with disaster relief supplies. Coming up after the break, schools resume in the Western Division. UN agencies distribute sanitation kits to affected areas, and health deploys team to the Western Division.